So I've been only really 3D printing for about, I want to say something like 2 to 3 years now. And I didn't even start making like 3D modeling, like working in Blender or CAD programs or any of that until probably like maybe halfway through last year or something. So I've been doing 3D prints for probably about 2 to 3 years. Not quite accurate there, but that's as close as I could get. And I've been 3D printing and 3D modeling, like both of them, for only about maybe a year and a half, right? So like the 3D modeling is the part that's newer to me. But I really want to make like a really positive video about this because like it's just been a hobby that, as far as like, for about 90% of it, it's been pretty good for my mental health. It's made me happy. It's got all these projects I can work on that I really enjoy. And even though my models do tend to turn out not the best, and I'm still like early prototyping a bunch of model designs, but I'm happy with it. It gives me something to feel fulfilled about, and that's why I like to do it. Now, of course, like I said, I've only been 3D printing for a few years, and I've only been 3D modeling for even less amount of time, maybe a year and a half or something, in that regard. But yeah, I mean, it's just something I've been doing. And if you're wondering why I'm recording outside, if the footage of me out here walking around the yard is on there, that's because it's nice out here. We got a little cabin out in the woods, and it's a nice little place to just get clean air and work on projects over in the garage over there. Now, being that, I'm still pretty much a novice when it comes to 3D printing, and even more so when it comes to modeling. Like I'm not exactly good at this stuff. But one of my things is, obviously I'm going to have a lot of failures, and I'll put that up on screen somewhere. There'll be a pile of failed prints there for you to look at. Very interesting to look at failed prints sometimes. And it's a thing that happens. And like I said, I want to try to keep this video positive. So even though failed prints happen, you learn from them. You learn to think, hey, oh, this doesn't work. And you try something different. And, I have noticed that the barrier for entry to 3D printing, aside from the price of printers and stuff, it can be, depending on, how much of a tech person you are, it can be kind of hard. Like, for example, the Anycubics. Not that I'm going to shill for any company or anything in any way, shape, or form, but I have had more success with Anycubics, like just kind of getting used to using them. I also started with Anycubic Cobra 2 Neo, so I may be a little biased there, so I will admit that. That's kind of because that's what I started with. And I have tried Enders, like the Ender 3, and I've had less success with them, a lot less success with the Ender 3. I guess the Ender 3 is more advanced compared to an Anycubic, so, but regardless of what 3D printer you're using, be it Anycubic, Ender, Bamboo Lab, etc., it's all trial and error, and you'll learn over time. And like, if you're like me, you try to get better at it. You might not always get better at it in some regards. There's certain aspects of the hobby I'm just not that good at. Like, for example, when I do the 3D modeling, mostly in Blender, my models do come out looking pretty silly, I should say. Like, I mostly just make toys. And yeah, I've had comments saying the proportions are really far off on a lot of my models, and I'm like, yeah, I get that, I understand that, I can see that I'm not perfectly getting the proportions of every part of a model right, and that's okay. I mean, yeah, my models are kind of ugly, I will admit that, but it's a process, I'm learning. And I don't know, I kind of like the toys I've been making. I mostly make really small, like, mini toys, but I also make like entire play sets for them and stuff like that. Like, one of the things I did was an airport, I did an aircraft carrier, I did a military base at one time. I don't have the original model for that, I lost it somewhere. I made an articulating robot action figure, and this is all stuff I modeled myself on Blender. Now, that one I gave away to some kid who wanted it, so I made like 3 copies of that. The smallest one broke. The medium one I gave away to some kid, and then the bigger one, I don't know whatever happened to the bigger one. But I do upload all my models or printables 100% for free because, like, You know, you can just go to printables, download them, and if you like any of them, I mean, you don't have to. I'm not going to beg for downloads. I'm not going to beg for subscribers. I'm not that type of person. I just try to be honest and be like, hey, you know, I would like people to go check them out, but I'm not like these big YouTubers who go around trying to, like, talk you into it with, like, saying, oh, you have to do this to this, or I won't make another video or something like that. I just make these videos for fun, you know. I don't go to people and say, hey, you know, you have to get this many people to watch this video for me to make another one. Heck, I'm not even good at making videos. I can barely even edit videos. So, like, you know, I just do it for fun because I enjoy it. It's fun, and I think that's a positive thing, to have fun with it and to just, you know, have fun. Obviously, again, it can be a little, some of the models of printers like the Ender 3, I have had some issues running Ender 3s. Well, the Ender 3 that I use is not, I don't know, I probably didn't set it up right. The Anycubics, they mostly set themselves up. But again, I've had problems with them as well. Like, but I'm learning it. Like, again, it's a learning process, and I've learned how to do some maintenance on them over the past couple of years, because I have had, like, for example, my Anycubic Cobra 2 Neo and even the Cobra 3, believe it or not. I tried to run matte PLA through them. Probably not the best idea, and that gunked them up a bit. But I've learned how to maintenance and clean and do all this stuff. You know, all the things, including getting the grease off the parts that get greasy. you know, like I don't know what every part is called. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a super big tech guy outside of computers, and like I'm not, like, when it comes to the mechanical stuff, that's not what I'm not a mechanical engineer. I can work with certain types of softwares, and I can mess with stuff like that, you know, digital stuff. More physical stuff, that's a little bit harder, but I can kind of do it. It depends on what it is. I mean, like, these machines are interesting, a little difficult to get into, but interesting to learn, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I even made, like, a little ragdoll thing once, and like I said, I made it all in Blender, printed all my own stuff. I have printed stuff other people have made, and I will admit, pretty much everybody else who's involved with 3D printers is far, far better than I could ever be. Like, I'm a very slow learner, so it's going to take me a while. But, like, that's why it's been, like, 3 freaking years, mind my language, and I still haven't gotten much better. But I am having fun with it, and thank you for watching this video, and thanks. I appreciate you sitting through and watching this, and listening to me ramble about nonsense. And like I said, you want any of the models that I show in this video, I'll have links to my printables page in the comments. So if you want to check it out. Sorry I didn't clean up more for this video. I probably should have, but I'm nowhere near a haircut salon, you know, like a hair salon or anything right now. And I know I could use a bit of a treatment. But yeah, thanks for watching this. See you around another video. And yeah, I just have to wonder what the future holds for these projects. We'll have to see. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much.